This is a conversation you won't want to miss. 30 years in mergers and acquisitions and advising ASX-listed companies and raising capital for so many brands, so many well-known Australian brands. It's a phenomenal experience and a phenomenal story behind you. Tell us, what makes a great deal?
It doesn't matter whether I'm looking at a deal for myself or a deal for Bega Cheese or a deal for Cadbury. People need to start with a really very honest acknowledgement about what they're really good at. I see probably 2 new deals a week, but if I were to buy them for myself, I probably only see 1 every 6 months that's good for me. There's a deal that's good for somebody, but not necessarily for me, because the way to make money out of that deal is really applying your talents. Now, most of those deals require something other than money. So if you take, for example, Tassal, which is the largest aquaculture business in the country, by a long way, and one of the most profitable. I bought that out of receivership for $42.5 million. It was broke. It needed money to pay the bank out, so it needed $42 million, but it also needed some new leadership. I'd been advising the company for 10 years in any case, so I knew it back to front. And I put in place new farm manager, new CEO, new CFO, the whole works. It needed more than money. And so I needed to have a vision about how I could fix it. And I had that vision because I'd already been advising it for 10 years. So I had a view about what you could do with that business, with Coles and Woolworths and exports and so forth, and also how you could expand that business. So the acquisition itself is typically never just a good acquisition. It's a good acquisition with you involved. Sentiment
that I'm hearing now is that Australian investors, by and large, they are risk averse. Would you agree with that, or is it that there's something which is lacking in Australian innovation, that we are not able to attract the Australian investment market so much as compared to them going out and seeking investment from US or China?
To the extent that people are risk averse, I don't agree with that. I think people are not risk averse, and I can probably point you to 40 companies, listed companies, that have gone broke in the last 6 months in tech and in pharma, right? And some of those companies, by the way, did have good technology, but just didn't have enough cash. I often think of that as the company's fault. If you can't tell the story and convince people, then that's your problem, not the investor's problem. But the people who put money into those 40 odd companies, they've taken big risks. And the fact they've gone broke is evidence that they've taken big risks.